When we look at the Foglight Service Operation Console, we can see services that are monitored, alarms for those services, as well as the service level compliance for each service. With Foglight, we can also monitor user transactions against our site. In this case, we have a physician portal, administration portal, as well as a patient portal. The physician portal is the one that's having problems. We can also see dependencies. In this case, the application has users that are exercising the application. We have a web server, a cluster of application servers, and a database. We can see alert states for every component and the infrastructure that they're running on top of. There is also a list of alarms for this service. Notice that with Foglight, the alarms are sent directly to the administrators. So database alarms are sent to the DBAs, Java or .NET alarms are sent to the application administrator, and infrastructure alarms are sent directly to the infrastructure administrator. We will now go to the transaction that's having problems and have a look at it. Let's have a look at the alerts. We have a violation of end-to-end SLA, as well as violation of page backend time. We can go to the Pages tab. This is our page end-to-end response time, and this is our page backend time. Notice that this is an average for the last 4 hours. What we're going to do next is go to the user sessions that have end-to-end time violation. We can look at the map to see if there is any specific locations where users are coming from. In our case, users are coming from a variety of locations in Europe and in the United States. So it's not a location-related issue. We can also pivot the data. See if a specific browser type is causing issues. Check if a specific location or a city is experiencing problems. See if a specific service provider is having problems. Or maybe it's something that has to do with the OS. In our case, we have a variety of OSs, a variety of regions, a variety of browser types. So it's not a location, a browser, or a service provider issue. When we look at our timing statistics, we can see that the end-to-end time and the backend time are really close. That means that we have a backend related issue. The user response time is mostly influenced by backend time, by system time. What we can do, we can go and have a look at the user session and see if the user is getting any specific error. We can go through the user session. Notice that we're seeing the web pages and the user interaction. We eliminate certain types of information that we don't want to see, but we can get additional information like browser type and location, and also get additional information about the user interaction with the system, which we can export or save and have a developer look at as a reproducible use case. In our case, we have a slowness situation. This page is just slow, and the slowness is coming from our system, from our backend. What we're going to do next is look at the response time breakdown. The response time breakdown view shows us the flow of transactions in our system. We can see requests that are coming from the front end and the time that they're spending in the front end, the servers they're going to, the WebLogic cluster that is getting those requests and the time that we're spending in the cluster, as well as the time that we're spending in the database and the database that's being exercised. Let's have a look at the bad transactions. The nice thing about this view is that it shows you an end-to-end display of your system, the flow of the current transaction highlighted in blue, the time that it spent in different parts of your infrastructure, and from this view, you can drill down to different parts of your infrastructure. You can drill down to the end user, to the application tier, to the database tier, and the infrastructure they're running on top of. We can now investigate the problem. There seems to be slowness coming from the application server. Clicking on the application server, We can see the infrastructure that it's running on top of and the server itself. As you can see, the server state is green, but the infrastructure state is yellow. Let's have a look at the alert from the infrastructure. Looks like we have a case of missing or outdated VMware tools. This is just a warning. We took traces during the time of the problem, and we can go and examine the trace. Examining the trace, we can see method list. This is a list of all the methods that were called, right now sorted by time. This is the bottleneck. We have a method that is taking exclusively 10.4 seconds. We need to communicate this information with developers to try to troubleshoot the problem in the code. If a developer wants to see the user activity that generated this slowness, all we have to do is find related hits and look at the transaction replay. I hope you find this video informational. Thank you very much for your time.